Good evening, and thank you for reviewing this video from the public scoping meeting of the Environmental Impact Report of the Freedom West 2.0 project. This is a recording of the presentation that was made at the scoping meeting for the Freedom West project on May 21st, 2025, held at the African American Art and Culture Complex in San Francisco. The event was hosted by the San Francisco Planning Department. I'm Megan Kalpin, Environmental Review Coordinator for this project, and my colleagues, Tanya Shaner, Principal Environmental Planner, Lisa Gibson, Environmental Review Officer, and Taylor Booker, Senior Community Development Specialist and Fillmore Western Addition Community Liaison, also attended the meeting. Members of the Environmental Consultant Team and Project Sponsor Team were also in attendance. The scoping meeting is an early stage in the environmental review process for the proposed project at Freedom West. This stage notices the public that the Planning Department is preparing an Environmental Impact Report, or EIR, and welcoming members of the public to provide comments concerning the project's potential environmental effects. The presentation described what is CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, the proposed project, the EIR process and schedule, and how members of the public could provide public comment either at the meeting or in the future up until 5 p.m. on May 30th, 2025. The California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, is a California state law that was adopted 75 years ago. The purpose of CEQA is to inform decision makers and members of the public of the project's potential environmental effects, to engage the public in the environmental review process, to disclose potential project impacts on the environment, and to avoid or reduce impacts with alternatives or mitigation measures. In San Francisco, the San Francisco Planning Department is responsible for the CEQA process. An EIR is going to be prepared prior to any final decision to approve this project. The EIR will describe the existing environment at the project site and in the vicinity for each of the environmental topics listed on this slide, such as air quality, noise, or transportation. The EIR will then analyze individual project effects as well as cumulative effects, such as the project in combination with other developments in the vicinity. We'll look at both the construction impacts of the project and the impacts of any operations at the project site once it's fully built out and occupied. The proposed project would occur at the existing site of the Freedom West Homes Corporation in the Western Addition neighborhood. South of the two park blocks, the project site is bounded by Golden Gate Avenue to the north, Fulton Street to the south, Laguna Street to the west, and Goff Street to the east. McAllister Street bisects the project site. Currently, Octavia Street is closed off by gates and serves as surface parking lots and landscape walking paths for Freedom West residents. Note that a small portion of the current Freedom West Homes Corporation site is subject to a different regulatory process and is not considered part of this project. The project called out by the dotted lines would include the development of 115 affordable senior units with preference for existing Freedom West Homes seniors to move in first. The existing zoning at the project site is RTO, or Residential Transit Oriented, with building height limits ranging from 40 to 50 feet tall. RTO districts are moderately dense, multifamily areas that are well served within a short walking distance of transit and neighborhood commercial areas. Completed in 1975, the Freedom West Homes Corporation is composed of 10 apartment buildings, 10 townhome buildings, and 2 multipurpose buildings. The apartment and townhome buildings are 2 to 3 stories in height and are adjacent to landscaped areas with seating. In total, there are 382 existing co-op housing units and 296 surface parking spaces, the Freedom West Homes Corporation and its shareholders, the occupants of the co-op housing units, have engaged McFarland Partners, the project sponsor, to undertake the proposed project. The proposed project would demolish all 22 existing buildings on the project site and construct 15 new buildings. The proposed development would include a mix of residential, hotel, commercial, and cultural, institutional, educational uses, as well as associated car and bicycle parking, freight loading, at-grade, privately owned public open space, and a mix of residential common and private open space and open space for childcare. The project includes a creation of a new common usable pedestrian-friendly open space called Octavia Green, located between Golden Gate Avenue and Fulton Street, bisected by McAllister Street. In total, the project proposes 2,200 housing units, including 270 replacement co-op units, with existing residents will be temporarily relocated on or off-site during the construction of the new co-op building. There will also be 69,000 gross square feet of commercial space, a 150-unit hotel, or 15,000 gross square feet of cultural, institutional, and educational space, including 3,400 square foot childcare, about 1,600 garage parking spaces, and up to 2 acres of open space. This project is part of what is called a development agreement, which defines the broadest set of standards and guidelines for development at the site. Currently, the project is conceptual and each building is not fully designed with architectural features. The project would work with the city to the project sponsor would work with the city to seek approval of exact building designs and uses at a later date. The zoning map would be amended to add a proposed special use district zoning, allowing heights up to 85 feet at some parcels, shown here in pink, and up to 335 feet tall, shown in purple. Project construction would occur in 3 phases with subphases and is anticipated to last up to 7 years, beginning in early 2027 with completion in mid-2034. The EIR process has 3 main stages. The first stage is happening right now. We are in the 30-day public scoping period, and a public scoping meeting was hosted on May 21st, 2025 at the African American Art and Culture Complex near the project site. The purpose of the scoping meeting and the scoping period is to get the public's input on the project's potential environmental effects. Second, a draft EIR will be prepared and published, likely in January 2026. Members of the public will have 45 days to review and comment on the draft EIR analysis, and a public hearing will be held at City Hall before the Planning Commission for members of the public to provide oral comments as well. Lastly, responses to comments document will be published responding to any comments received on the draft EIR, which is anticipated to occur in summer 2026. The Planning Commission will then consider whether to certify the final EIR as adequate and accurate. That is not considered a project approval, it is just the certification of the environmental analysis. Thank you for your attention to this presentation. If you're reviewing this presentation prior to May 30th, 2025 at 5 p.m., you may still provide public comment on the potential environmental effects of the proposed project to me, Megan Kalpin, Environmental Review Coordinator at the San Francisco Planning Department, on the contact information provided on the next slide. please feel free to visit the project website at sfplanning.org/project/freedom-west. On this site, you can access information about the project environmental review process as well as the development agreement discussed earlier in this presentation. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to hearing from you.